I'm about to hit 100,000 euros net worth living in the Netherlands, but I don't keep it all in one place. Today, I'm breaking down my entire portfolio in 4 specific buckets, from my 11,000 safety net to the exact ETFs that I use and the payday routine that makes it all automatic. Let's dive in. Hi, I'm Lisa. I've been an expat in the Netherlands for about 2.5 years. Either this year or the next, I will hit that 100k milestone. I didn't get here by luck. I got here by optimizing my Dutch tax benefits, by maximizing my salary, and by staying disciplined with the system. In this video, I want to show you that money isn't just a number, it's a tool. I see my monies as having jobs to do, and I've placed them strategically so that they can fulfill those jobs without me having to micromanage them. The first bucket is where the majority of my wealth lives, my investment portfolio. This is the money whose job is to grow over the next 10 to 20 years. I have no plans to touch this no matter what happens to the stock market. For this, I use Interactive Brokers, or IBKR, for my international core. I started there in 2025, and my main workers is VWCE, which is a worldwide ETF with 3,000 of the world's largest companies. There I have 37,714 euros invested. I also have 25,832 euros in VUAA, which tracks the S&P 500. Even though I prefer global diversification now, these shares I bought when I first started investing, so at a much lower price. So I'm letting them sit there and build time in the market while giving my portfolio some US dominance. I use a second broker, which is Trade Republic, and there I have 6,816 euros in VWCE and 5,966 euros in a physical gold ETF. Buy gold because for me it's a hedge. When the stock markets actually drop, or when I find that there's geopolitical trust in the US that fails, gold tends to be a lot more favorable, so it makes me feel safe. And in total, this means that 86.6% of my portfolio is in my investments. So why so high? Well, because building wealth is always slower in a savings account. I'm not a trading expert, so I just let time do the heavy lifting for me. Next, my second bucket, and that is my foundation. It's money whose job is to be ready in the next 3 to 6 months if life happens. For me, that's a non-negotiable. Everyone should have an emergency fund. So I keep 7 months of living expenses, so exactly 11,240 euros in Trade Republic. And I've chosen them over Dutch banks because investment rates, which are higher, this basically helps me have the safety net fight inflation while it waits to be used. So I've lived with a lot of financial anxiety growing up. This bucket is the safety, basically, that allows me to take risks with my investments. If I lose my job, or let's say if a health crisis happens, then I don't need to panic. This money is basically there to buy me 7 months of calm. You might think a 100k portfolio means a huge checking account balance, but for me that's the opposite. I keep my checking account very, very lean. So after my rent is paid, I keep about 600 euros there, and this is about only 0.7% of my total net worth. It's money that is subject to inflation right now, so whose job is to cover basically my coffee and daily life. Keeping this balance very small prevents lifestyle creep. If I see a huge number in my app, I spend mindlessly, so a small balance helps me keep intentional. Budget bucket 4. So how do I make these workers move? So every payday, I follow this exact order for my 50k salary. First comes rent. That's 810 euros that goes out immediately when I receive my salary. Next, I pay my future self. I have automatic transfers set up for IBKR and Trade Republic, for VWCE, and for physical gold. So for now, that's 1,500 euros I'm allocating towards VWCE, 500 euros I'm allocating towards physical gold in Trade Republic. So that way, I remove the choice so that I never miss a month. Consistency over time is what ends up building wealth. And 3, the essentials: groceries, water tax, the must-dos. 4 is the joy bucket. Whatever is left that goes to my vacation, to my weekend trips and dinners, this is the money that makes living in the Netherlands worth it for me. Look, I haven't been perfect at this. I'm still fine-tuning my strategy, and that strategy might change based on the needs of my life, basically. So in fact, in the coming months, I'm going to be changing my allocations for a new experiment, and I'll be sharing that with you at some point, hopefully. But if you want to know more, you can watch my How I'm Building a 100k video, or if you want to see my salary breakdown, I've got another video for that. Now, I'd love to hear in the comments what is the one rule that you have for your little workers? Thanks for watching. See you next time.